Weather Scope.
Well, once again, another cool blast heading down across the eastern states, and unfortunately, some thunderstorms, some of them going severe. With more details on what's happening with our weather this afternoon, let's go to Mike Bono in the Weather Channel Forecast Center.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Yes, we have the battle of the air masses, you could call it. Some summer-like weather being pushed out to sea to the Atlantic and down to the Gulf Coast by an unusually cool air mass coming in from Canada. And in that battle zone, the thunderstorms prevail, and some damage, too, and large hail. Let's take a look at our severe weather watches. We use the singular right now because there was a watch area that was originally back into Virginia, Maryland, and almost up to Delaware that has been canceled. The activity has moved on out to sea after hammering the Norfolk area and the Tidewater with some gusty winds, although no damage reported there. However, back in Wake County near Raleigh-Durham, a tree or two fell down due to the wind coming on through. And right now, as of recent times, we have a special marine warning. Cape Fear Inlet to Murrells Inlet, south of Myrtle Beach, some of the emerald coastline of South Carolina getting hammered by some big thunderstorms. And you can look at this visible satellite picture and really see what's happening. Notice the clouds blowing off from these thunderstorms in the northeast, kind of wisps of clouds. That's a tracer for the upper level winds, and they're really backing. The upper level winds are backing right now in the northeast and the coastal areas, and in the winter we'd be looking for a nor'easter developing, believe it or not. This is a very dynamic situation. A trough line here with the winds coming in and then backing right there, and still another trough line coming through parts of the Great Lakes with the real cool air behind that. But anywhere you look south or north of about the jet stream, we've got plenty of cool air aloft, and that is combining with some summer-like air down below to give us rising, billowing currents of air, convection, and thunderstorms. And even in the cool air to the north, quote-unquote, there are still some storms. It looks like new low pressure has developed over Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland that will move to about where this is. Roughly, we'll have low pressure by tomorrow, giving us a very dreary and almost autumn-like day with rain and wind along parts of the New England coast. But the first shot of this was thunderstorms that started producing damage in West Virginia as early as 8:30 this morning, and then we had some damaging winds in parts of Kentucky. Large hail up to over an inch in Pikeville, Kentucky. Now look at the leading edge of this squall line down south of Raleigh. You can see those low clouds creeping southward, and then more lines of instability coming on through Pennsylvania and even upstate New York. The big picture showing some storms right around Danbury, Connecticut. We had one near Atlantic City a while ago that could have been severe. We've had damage in Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, and York County. Tree damage, wind damage, and still in Adams and York County we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect as storms move over the coastal waters. New York City, just some showers, but as this low develops offshore, you'll probably get a steady rain late tonight. Here's that strong storm near York, Pennsylvania, that moving southeastward. The leading edge, though, to about Elizabeth City and Duck and Currituck, North Carolina. The Outer Banks getting the strong storms right now. And here are the storms that special marine warning is prompted by near Myrtle Beach and Murrells Inlet. We've had some warnings for storms around Nashville, Tennessee, up to over an inch hail in Kingsport, Tennessee. So a frontal system stretches into the Tennessee Valley, but cool weather coming on in from the upper Midwest, and that cool weather has brought some thunderstorms into Chicagoland. Now, around Joliet, this one has been severe over Will County and a gust front moving toward Kankakee. This could be 50 or 60 mile-an-hour winds. We would expect damage with this. Also to the west, Carroll County, south of Joe Davies, has already had some damage, up to 60 mile-an-hour winds. Looks like Chicago, you got off pretty easily, but now moving toward Kankakee County, we have that threat again, as the red indicates on the map for possible severe weather in northern Illinois through just about midnight and maybe later than that. So we'll keep you posted on a very dynamic situation with our cool front moving southward, developing low in the east, thunderstorms continuing, and we'll keep you posted throughout the evening. Now back to the studio with Jim.
And not to mention a potential flood situation in the west continuing. It's already very bad across parts of the rim this afternoon, the Grand Canyon, also up in the south central parts of Utah. Let's go ahead and take you to Phoenix yesterday to give you an idea of what's been happening here. Heavy rain in a short period of time. Good news is it kept the temperatures down to well below what is normal for this time of the year. They're back up to 103 degrees today, by the way, just because all the rain moved out. That gives you an idea how hot they can be. Not to mention the dew point 66, so it's very humid. It's very hot and uncomfortable in Phoenix today. All that action moving north into the rim. Flagstaff reporting some heavy rains, and also up into south central Utah, where we've had several reports of flash flooding with some of the rainfall rates there being at over 4 inches an hour. Isn't that 4 inches an hour in the west? Now, we always talk about the tropical type air in the east, but you can get it out west, and that's why we call it the monsoon. It's the tropical feed of air coming up into the west, and that's really as simple as it gets for definition here. And you can see that. You can see it showing up very, very nicely on the water vapor imagery. This plume of mid and high level moisture just sitting underneath an upper air ridge. You know, we always talk about sinking air in the ridge. Well, this is a case where the moisture is trapped underneath it. And so all the intense heat that you can get here over the Intermountain region is helping to ignite these storms. Here's a great example. This little upper low, which is pushed up through west central Utah today, earlier today, cleared out the stratiform clouds, like you see here in northern Utah, or the mid-level overcast clouds. And you can see what happened. The intense heat in the low levels, boom, big storms right over the